Alright, so we're talking today about how 55, 223, 556 is basically all you need. When you're working from a budget, if you're just trying to, whether you're working from a budget or trying just to spend, take your dollar a little farther with your ammo stores, when you're talking, this basically comes out of the debates I've seen recently, especially from the short-barreled AR crowd, that they have like the shortest thing possible, and then you're taking, that's removing the biggest thing about the AR. Like one of their biggest advantages is the velocity that tiny bullet is getting. So when you're talking about that, when you're talking about losing that velocity, they immediately go towards the 77 grain OTM. Basically, that's like the meta, if you want to look at it that way. But for me, the most of what I get is going to be this. Doesn't have to be this brand necessarily, but 55 grain M193 FMJ boat tail. That's going to get, even out of your 16-inch barrel, that's going to get you a good enough velocity to basically do anything you need to do. You also have this is my home defense load that I use in my AR. God forbid that happen, but you've got this 55 grain Hornady with the FTX projectile. If you've seen tests from Hornady or independently, that is a really fast expanding round, very unlikely to overpenetrate in a home defense situation. And then people even say that there's like you can't hunt with 223. Like they'll flat out say you can't hunt with 223. But that's not. It's FUD lore, basically. It's fucking FUD lore. Right here, this is a 55 grain soft point federal. It's advertised for small game. I know that Barnes makes a really good load, 55 grain for deer. And another thing about having everything you shoot be 55 grain is every ammo type or every ammo brand is going to be different, whether the grains are the same or not. You need to get out there and zero with whatever your ammo is. But if everything can maintain the same grain weight, that's the less guesswork you have to do on the fly. So in like the worst situation, if you just buy, for the most part, 55 grain for pretty much anything that's going to come your way in day-to-day life, or God forbid, the near future, maybe, you can grab anything out of your box of ammo. You can pull anything and reload your mags with 55 grain. If you do that across the board, whether it's something like this with a FTX polymer tip kind of projectile, whether it's FMJ, whether it's a soft point thing, it's all 55 grain. So it takes out a lot of the guesswork if you just have to grab and go with whatever's your situation is. And it kind of leads all back to, and I'll talk about this in a future video, hopefully, of a all-purpose, like a real all-purpose rifle. But when you're going back to the premise of this, 55 grain, 55 grain was the original grain weight that this was brought into, the adoption into the military, and that was with a 20-inch barrel. But time has gone on, we've gotten better about ammo in general and how we manufacture it. And this also comes back to price. When you're talking about saving up ammo, storing it, training, and just general sighting in or going to the range with friends, you know. It's you're talking about this is like the best you're gonna get, in my opinion. You can use something like this if you think this is like your combat load. You can do that fine, but you're gonna be spending quite a lot. You can get stuff like this for still a very reasonable price, and basically with the thought of your general purpose, you know, your general purpose ammo for your AR, 55 grain M193 loads. Not all M193s are created equal. Do a little research into the rounds you're getting before you buy a shit ton of them, or you know, buy it 1-2 boxes at a time and do your own research, chronograph, all that happy stuff. But you can buy this stuff, and you can, you know, you find a good M193, you can get a good supply of it. You can use it to practice. You can use it to sight in. You know, you get a new optic or something like that, and you can use it for really bad days where bad shit's going on, right? So, and then if you have maybe something you're doing a little more, you know, you got to take out something that's breathing, and you want to be humane about it, you can go with this, a soft point variant of some kind. And again, this goes back to when we're talking about price, like this is more expensive than this, and this is more expensive than this. But this is all cheaper than a 77 grain OTM or whatever 77 grain you want to pick from. Short barreled ARs are fucking cool, right? I really want one. I have to stop myself from going down the rabbit hole and starting to pick parts for a retro short barreled Car 15, you know, clone, you know what I mean? They're really fucking cool. But when you're talking about a person who is, as a person who's a young adult going into his 30s, it kind of just becomes like guns are cool, but I have an AR and I don't need another one. I will show off my AR in another video, but basically it's the premise of this is why are guys getting these short barreled ARs, not only losing the velocity, they probably already have an AR as well, so they're getting this short barreled AR, losing velocity, spending more to on these 77 grain rounds, spending more than $1 a round most likely, struggling to buy ammo when it's so expensive, the 77 grainers, when this stuff is still cheaper, this stuff is still cheaper, this stuff is still cheaper than all those 77 grains just about. You can go check out the the chopping block on YouTube. Just look up like 55 grain soft point ammo tests, like gel tests, and you can see that the Hornady's do really good. There's these 55 grain soft points do really good. And that test is also done. You can show them with a short barrel, and you can look at them with a short barrel. I think that was an 11.5 on the chopping block video on YouTube. Oh, excuse me. And it's doing very, very significant damage out of an 11.5 with a soft point. And it's just cheaper. It's frustrating me that guys are having these debates when it's kind of already settled. You know, they're adults, they can do whatever they want, but when we're talking about being prepared and having these tools for everyday life, and then when life gets really hard, they're spending a lot of time and money to do something that you can just have these across the board, 55 grain, and the work's already done for you. We know what 55 grain does. out of different barrels, and instead of spending more money on a short AR that you probably don't need because you already have a 16-inch rifle, just get, general purpose, future video, general purpose, 16-inch barrel AR with whatever bells and whistles you want, but stick to 55 grain. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.